Welcome to Flow Tao Salon. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating report from Bain Company that's got everyone talking. It shows that China's luxury market isn't just bouncing back, it's going through a huge fundamental reset. And it's all being driven by this new idea of value return. So let's dig in and see what that really means. All right, so the big question on everyone's mind is China's luxury market in some kind of crisis? You might look at the headlines and think so, but honestly, what's really going on is way more interesting than a simple downturn. We're not watching a collapse here, we're witnessing a complete reset of the entire industry. So to really get what's happening, we've got to look past that main number, because beneath the surface, there's a clear story of transformation starting to unfold. In 2025, the market did contract by about 3 to 5%. Now, yeah, that's still a decline, but hold on. That's a huge stabilization compared to the almost 20% drop the year before. The free fall? It's over. So after that really sharp drop in 2024, the market seems to have found a new floor, a new sense of stability. This isn't a story about a free fall, it's a story about a reset. And the main driver behind all of it is a massive shift in the Chinese luxury consumer. Yep, the real engine behind this whole market shift is the consumer. A brand new way of thinking is taking hold, and it's forcing the entire industry to basically rip up its old playbook and start fresh. And at the very heart of this shift is this incredible concept, 价值回归, which translates to value return. Look, the days of just buying a flashy logo to show off, they're fading fast. Today's consumer is way more sophisticated, more discerning. They're asking the tough questions, like, what's the actual value here? Is the quality top-notch? Is this piece unique? And hey, is it even practical for my life? And this whole value return idea, it looks a little different depending on who you're talking to. You've still got your top spenders. They're a huge force for the most exclusive stuff. Then there's the middle-aged, high-income group. You can think of them as the active, stable core of the market. But here's the real twist. The younger, new generation seekers. Economic realities mean they're delaying that first big luxury purchase, which, of course, puts a ton of pressure on brands who need that new blood coming in. Now, what's fascinating is that this new consumer mindset isn't hitting all products equally. The report shows this massive split happening in the market, a real divide between the winners and the losers. So, on one side, you've got your clear winners. Check this out. Beauty and personal care is the only category that saw real positive growth, up an impressive 4 to 7%. And it makes total sense in this value return era, right? Consumers are prioritizing things that provide emotional and sensory value. A favorite perfume, a high-quality skincare product, that's seen as a worthwhile personal luxury. But whoa, it is a completely different story for other categories. The watch market took a massive hit, down 14 to 17%. And leather goods also faced significant pressure, declining 8 to 11%. These were once the unshakable pillars of the industry, and now they're being challenged by this new consumer skepticism. And this quote from the report really just nails it. Consumers are becoming more rational. For big-ticket items like watches, they're weighing the purchase against other investments, or, just exploring the secondhand market. If a brand can't prove its value through innovation or fair pricing, shoppers are simply walking away. This intense search for value hasn't just changed the primary market, it has ignited a parallel industry that is becoming a massive force in its own right. We're talking about the second-hand luxury market. I mean, the contrast here is just stark. While the primary market was shrinking, the second-hand market absolutely exploded, growing by 15 to 20% in 2025 alone. This isn't some niche trend anymore, it's a mainstream movement. The growth trajectory is undeniable. But here's the key detail. China's secondhand market is still less than 10% of the total, which is far below the 20 to 30% you see in markets like Japan. This boom is just getting started. The appetite for luxury is still strong, but consumers are finding smarter ways to satisfy it. So what are they buying? Well, this table reveals a real focus on value retention. Just look at the classic item column. A classic watch retains 70 to 80% of its value. This confirms consumers are treating these purchases as assets, making really calculated decisions based on long-term worth. This market reset isn't just about what people are buying or where they're buying it. It's also about who they're buying from. And a new and powerful force is entering the arena: domestic Chinese luxury brands. For years, European houses just dominated this market. That's changing. Local brands are leveraging a huge home field advantage with a deep understanding of local culture, China-first digital strategies, and often better pricing. They aren't just imitating anymore, they are innovating. And you can see just how sophisticated these local brands are. You have brands like Lapu Gold, which revives traditional goldsmithing, and fragrance brands like Documents, which build these modern narratives around Chinese culture. They're developing unique competitive advantages, from heritage crafts to hyperlocal marketing, and are becoming serious contenders, reshaping what luxury means in China. So, we've seen the market reset, the consumer shift, the secondhand boom, and the rise of local brands. What does it all mean? Well, Bain's report boils it down to 3 essential findings about the future of luxury. Let's break down the significance of each one by one. First, the consumer has upgraded. The old playbook of just selling a logo is no longer enough. The Chinese luxury shopper is now one of the most sophisticated in the world, demanding substance and quality. And the brands that deliver on this are going to earn immense loyalty. Second, the secondhand market is here to stay. It's not a trend, it's a permanent part of the luxury ecosystem. Brands that embrace it can find new customers and build a more sustainable image. Those who ignore it risk becoming irrelevant. And third, the game has changed. The competitive field is no longer just a battle between international giants. Homegrown Chinese brands that are deeply connected to local culture are now a force to be reckoned with. And this intense competition, it's ultimately going to benefit the consumer, offering more choice and more innovation. You know, this great reset in China's luxury market isn't just a local story. It's a preview of the future for the entire global industry. As consumers everywhere become more discerning, the lessons from China will define tomorrow's winners, and that poses the ultimate question. In this new era of sophistication, who is truly equipped to win the future of luxury?